Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about something that something's been on my mind recently because I've started to do some reviews. You won't see them until June, but I started to do some reviews for handheld games, portable games, whatever. I'm trying to mix it up a little bit, so I think I'm going to do some portable games, and then I'm going to do some arcade games over the next little while. I'm going to be swapping back and forth because I still have a bunch of arcade stuff that I would like to cover, like the PGM. But I've just been in the mood to cover some portable games. So I'm going to actually do a separate video just announcing like the channel update, if you will, just so people know what's coming. But today, what I wanted to talk about in particular, I wanted to talk about, let's see if I can grab them here. Basically, I wanted to talk about these two platforms right here. This is the PSP 3000, which obviously is the one I'm using to capture footage, and this is the original launch PlayStation Vita. Now, why I wanted to talk about these particular platforms was people don't realize something, I don't think. Who killed the Vita? That's what I would like to talk about today. You see, the PlayStation Portable here, many people don't realize this, but this is one of the highest selling platforms of all time. It sold, I think it was like 82 or 83 million units. It has a wealth of incredible games. It's got more RPGs on it than the PlayStation 3 does. It was basically, you had the Super Nintendo, then you had the PlayStation 1, then you had the PlayStation 2, then you had the PSP for Japanese RPGs. Like, this thing is jam full of awesome JRPGs. And it was basically the platform responsible for making Monster Hunter what it is today. And it's just, it had a wealth of just really great quality titles. And when Sony was like, okay, we're going to follow that up, and they followed it up with this bad boy here, the PlayStation Vita. The PlayStation Vita, in my mind, was the ultimate portable console. Having these two little analog sticks you see here was really the icing on the cake, for me anyways, because it basically took everything that I liked about the PlayStation Portable and made it better with the PlayStation Vita. I like the touchscreen, I like the trackpad on the back. The camera could have been a lot better, but whatever. The point being that they put a lot of great features into the platform. And when it launched with Uncharted Golden Abyss, that was a great game. I don't care what people say. For me, that was a fantastic game. And this system had some really awesome games on it too, like Mutant Blob's Attack, we had Guacamelee, now Severed is out on it. And I haven't used this in quite some time. And because Severed came out, and I'm currently playing through it and loving it, it's a fantastic game, highly recommended. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Vita, because the Vita, for all intents and purposes, is dead. It's now being reported as a legacy platform on Sony's financial reports. It's stopped production in certain areas. It's finished. That's pretty much it. Sony says that they're not making any more first-party games for it. It's clear. The MLB The Show 16 was released, and for the first time ever, there was not a portable version. Just so you guys are aware, when MLB, what was it, The Show, I think that's what it was originally called, it was from 2006. It was released on PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. And then the PlayStation Portable had every single show, or MLB game, that was released all the way up until the PlayStation Vita. And then the PlayStation Vita got all the different versions up until this year. This year, the PlayStation Vita was no longer supported by Sony. And so my question to you is, well, who killed the Vita? Now, a lot of people say, like, oh, well, it was the mobile market. You know, the mobile market totally killed the Vita. The Vita was dead. It was finished. There was no chance, blah, blah, blah. Really? Because the 3DS sold 50 million units. Like, and it's still out. Yeah, it's slowing down and this and that and whatever. And I'm sure, yes, mobile certainly had an impact or like an effect on this. But did it really kill it? To me, if I were to look at these two platforms, okay, and I were to say, well, who killed the Vita? You know who I say killed the Vita? Sony killed the Vita. They barely ever mentioned this platform. I'm going to move them here, make it a little bit easier for me to keep grabbing them. With the PlayStation Portable, Sony supported it through thick and thin. It was not selling as well as the DS. The DS like pretty much more than doubled. It sold like 150 million units. This sold like 80 something. But 80 something million, guys. 80 something million. You know? Like that's a big friggin' deal. That's a huge amount of systems. And through thick and thin, Sony just kept supporting this. And even though the UMD format wasn't exactly ideal, had load times, some issues, especially early on in the PlayStation Portable's life, there's a lot of issues with the UMD. And with the PlayStation Portable, they made so many stupid mistakes that could have been avoided. And instead of rectifying those mistakes, they just ignored the Vita completely. Like, for example, the proprietary memory cards. Why would they have done that? Why? When this bad boy used Memory Stick Pro Duos, okay, yes, a Pro Duo technically is proprietary, or at least it was to Sony, okay? Okay. So, why not just make this Pro Duos then? For God's sakes. Instead, they made those stupid proprietary cards and charged like 10 times what an SD card cost. That was ridiculous. That was really, really stupid. And okay, fine, you made that mistake with this particular model, but why wouldn't you re-release like the PS Vita 2000, whatever the hell you want to call it, and do away with those cards and just make it standard SD cards or micro SD cards or whatever the case may be, so that at least you eliminate that one hurdle. And then they played up remote play on the PlayStation 4. Come on, guys. No one was going to pay $250 to have an extra controller, to basically do what the Wii U was doing. So I could play here my PlayStation 4 games while Serena was watching TV. Yeah, okay, maybe some people would do that, but that's a selling feature. That's a selling point. That's not the crux. That's not the reason people are going to go out and buy this. They're going to go out and buy this for the games, for the Severeds, for the Uncharted Golden Abysses, for the Ys, oh my god, I can't even think what it's called. Anyways, the Ys game that was released on this. They're going to buy it for its own games. And it really is sad to see that this platform never got a chance to really shine. And the reason for it was because of Sony, not because of anyone else. It wasn't due to third parties. The only people who support this today are third parties in Japan, not in North America, like Square Enix. They're like, nope, sorry, we'll release, let's say they released a game on mobile and PlayStation Vita in Japan. When it comes to North America, they'll translate it, they'll do all the work, but they won't release it on Vita. They're like, nope, screw that. And I don't blame them, because why would you release anything on Vita today? It makes no sense when the first party company that makes the damn thing is like, no, we're not, no, we're not supporting it. And that's sad, because this really could have been a bigger, more successful platform than it was. It was just never, ever given the chance, and we'll never see a follow-up to the PlayStation Vita, and that's really unfortunate. You know, we talk a lot about this, about the Wii U. We talk a lot about how it failed to really sell that well. It's at like 13 million units worldwide. Well, guess what, guys? The PlayStation Vita is around the same. It's around the same at around like 13 million units, something like that. But the difference is, Nintendo has supported this throughout. They have constantly been there for this, releasing new games for it. Yeah, things have slowed down a little bit over the last year or so, but they've still got its back. Whereas with this, truly, Sony supported this for like 2 years, and not even. After the first year, after it didn't like catch on fire, they were basically like, okay, well, you know what, PlayStation 4 is for us. And that really is upsetting, because had they put the effort and some time into this, listen to the fans, fix a couple of the things like the memory cards that were really annoying with it, this could have had a chance to really shine. I really think this could have sold like 40 or 50 million units easy. Really easy. I don't think it would have, you know, maybe not been able to catch up to like the 3DS or whatever, but had they released a slimmer model for say like $150, $200, no proprietary memory cards, and they kept supporting it with titles, I don't see how it could not have continued to sell. And it really pisses me off when I hear Sony talk about the PlayStation Vita as a legacy platform, and a game like Severed comes out, which is a fantastic game, and you start looking at the games that have been released by third parties like Xseed, NIS America, companies like that, where, you know, they don't even have a chance to truly shine because Sony is basically just destroyed the Vita, and now there's no chance of it ever coming back. Like, there's just no chance because Sony's no longer supporting the platform. It's going to be discontinued. PlayStation TV, I'm pointing over there because that's where mine is, was another really messed up, like failed opportunity. I don't know what they were thinking. By locking all of these games, I mean, you have to do a workaround in order to play Uncharted Golden Abyss. Come on, guys. I get it. You don't want to have to patch the games. Fine, don't patch the games. But how is it that I can play Uncharted Golden Abyss on my PlayStation TV with a hack that simply allows me to use like the trackpad or the touch screen? Not the touchscreen, but my my PlayStation 4 controller here. But I can use the little trackpad on my PlayStation 4 controller to simulate the touchscreen or the trackpad and things like that. It's stuff like that that really boggles my mind. That we have to go through a hack, and now Sony has completely discontinued the PlayStation TV, and that too is what a waste, man. What a waste. And it's really sad because PlayStation Portable here was a phenomenal system, and you know what? The truth, the PlayStation Vita is a phenomenal system. It just never had a chance to shine, and I personally put the blame solely on Sony's shoulders there, because as a first party, you do not kill your own platform and then just say like, oh well, you know, indies and third parties, they can release whatever they want for it. So that's pretty much that. So guys, who do you think killed the PlayStation Vita? Do you agree that it was Sony? Do you think there were other factors there? Certainly, like I said, mobile most likely definitely had, you know, some sort of influence there. But to me, PlayStation Vita's failure, personally, I say, is directly on Sony's shoulders. Okay guys, that's pretty much it. So leave a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you all in the next video.